you know, the newsletter is all about for writing, and so I want to really focus on writing math numbers and equations and that kind of stuff. But you really need to kind of look into Dyscalculia as well. And really, I'm going to click on this article. It's a great article. It's fairly short, but it really has some great ideas on what you can do, some suggestions on what you can do with students who have dyscalculia, but even more importantly, like what really is it? So I really liked this kind of map here. So if you have students that have trouble with counting, with identifying symbols, with telling time and all of that kind of stuff, that might be, thanks, Anne, that might be uh, dyscalculia. And there are so many students who have, they kind of have dual issues. So they may have ADHD and dyscalculia. About 50% of the students with dyscalculia have something else as well. So great article to get your mind around. Is it just sloppy handwriting, or is it laziness? Often, no, it's not. It's something else. And so this article has some great stuff. So it is really a great article to read and to kind of expand your knowledge on that. This next section, we have some games, which are really important for students to learn some of these math concepts. And this link takes you to, Cami had found this. These are apps for dyscalculia. And so you can kind of look at the different categories and then kind of dive into some of the apps. And so somewhere on here, there's a talking calculator that's free. But these were gathered by Call Scotland, which is a website outside of the United States, Great Britain. And so all of these take you to the Great Britain kind of app store, but they're also available in the American app store. So if you find one and you like it, then make sure you jump over to the app, American app store to kind of follow through. So this education website has some great games that have no ads. And so I really like that. So I'm just going to show you a quick one. This is a third grade math website or game that once you get into it, and if you pay for it, then you can assign this game to students. But the free part, and I can hear it, I don't think that you guys can, but basically I'm catching eggs, and then later I sort them and I put them into a graph. And so, and it's a fairly short little clip. And so now it's done. And this is where I sort. And say I'm wrong, then it kind of will bounce things back. So there is some learning. It doesn't keep track of learning like what like IXL would, but these are some pretty fun things. I just want to quickly do this to show you the graph. If I was wrong, again, if I pushed on, it would say I needed to do more. And then just a simple graph. So anyway, you get the idea how and all of their educational games. This link takes you right to math, but they have a lot of different ones, and they are again, as I said, low ads, I think is the best thing to say. And then I want to include this one for card games, so kind of offline, and all you need is a deck of cards. And you can have students playing with each other or playing by themselves, a little bit of gambling, but it's always kind of nice to have some offline things for students. One of the things that they mentioned in the article on dyscalculia is that it is good to support the students with different things, including a calculator. And so this is a great article on 6 reasons to teach calculator skills. Usually start teaching calculator skills like 5th grade on up. And so I wanted to make sure that you had access to some good calculators that students who are struggling to write could still use. These are online. This is from Desmos, and Desmos has great stuff if you are a math teacher to use, especially if you are a virtual, if you have to do some virtual stuff. But if you go to this Desmos website and you just click on math tools, there's their calculators, and that's also where you can get their apps. So if you have iPads, then you can download the app. So I'll just show you quickly. But again, it's an app with no ads, and that's what I like about it. So it is going to figure out the math problems for them, and then so that might be an issue. It depends on what their task is, right? But there's no way to like send this. So it looks like you could print it, but you can't send your information to anybody. But so anyway, it's a calculator that you can kind of work out some things with no ads. So that's why I kind of like them. And the fact that they had some higher level um, calculators as well. Some people have ran into calculators. They'll find a nice calculator, like an extension, Google extension, but it ended up giving them a virus or giving them some issue with their computer. But if you look up at this website, I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty small, but there's an S there. It is a secure site. And so these are good calculators to be recommending for people. And for sure, make sure that you don't forget about the low tech stuff, right? So this raised line paper has, I'm going to click on there so you can kind of see basically that website shows you different ways to make raised line paper. And we were talking about it for writing, but if you turn that, instead of horizontal lines, you make vertical lines up and down, then the students can align their problems better. And so for younger kids and for a lot of kids, that tactile is really good. This graph paper, so you can print out different size graph paper, and of course the Legiliner. We all love Legiliners, and this is what we're giving away this time. It is a Legiliner boxes, and so if I click here, you can see that a Legiliner has like a roller of ink, and so this boxes will let you roll out 2 columns of boxes at a time. So again, low tech is often the best for a lot of students. I'm hopping up now to the helpful links. Again, the recording will be right here, but for the checklist assignment, if you are getting sketches, I just want to briefly show. It's the typical kind of form that you fill out, and you either have to attend this live session or watch the recorded session. And then there's 8 resources kind of that we shared, and then we want you to look at least 5 of them. So you just do a check mark on which ones you looked at. And we want you to look at the sharing space, which is where we have people put some of their ideas, and it's where you sign up for freebies and stuff. There's already a couple of at least one I remember of a suggestion of how they use math, how they have supported students with math that I liked. It was with singing and songs. And then the final question, this is kind of a different way of asking, but what we want to know is, did you find resources helpful, but is there something else that you're looking for? Is there a specific issue that you're having that wasn't being met by this newsletter or anything that we talked about during this little training? And so if so, then put that down and we can get back with you on that. And if not, that's fine. You can just say no. So this section is important, and I won't spend a lot of time, but a little bit of time on this is what do you do when students need to turn in math assignments, yet they have sloppy handwriting or and they need some technology to do it. So I wasn't sure how many people were aware of the equation editor that's built into Google Docs. And if you click on this link, there's a 3-minute video, and it's a man who knows math. And so it's really good. In only 3 minutes, that's worth your time doing. I'm going to briefly show you what the calculator looks like. So I'm in Google Docs, and basically you use the keyboard for your numbers. So I would just type in, for example, 1 plus 2 equals 3. But when you need equations, for example, a fraction, it would be hard to write fraction just with your keyboard. And so if you go to insert and equation, then these equations kind of appear here. And because I've done it before, they kind of show up, but they often disappear. Hence my tip number 2, you must go to insert equation a lot. So right now I'm going to put in a fraction. You can see how the cursor kind of changed a little bit. And if I'm just going to write the fraction 1/2, if I tap the 1 on my keyboard and then the right arrow, then it pulls my cursor down and I can tap 2. So that's 1/2. And if I tap the right arrow twice now, then I'm back to being able to use my keyboard again. So that that right arrow is the key for the equations. And now you see how I can't get to these equations again. So I need to go up to insert. And I haven't found the a keyboard shortcut. So I have to do it with my mouse that I'm aware of. But see how some of these other math operations, like where you have a number and then you have another number, like squared numbers or that kind of thing, to make that higher level number, again, you use the arrow keys. So if I tap here, then I can write A, and then I use my arrow key and it automatically goes up, and I can say that it's A squared, and then arrow key twice, boop, and now I'm back to typing with my keyboard. Thanks, Anne. And so that was the built-in keyboard. And I'm going to let you look at the Math Learning Center by yourself, and because I don't want to run out of time here. We took a little bit of time extra, so I'm still going to tap into this Mod Math. So Mod Math is a free app, which then that's what we love. So as soon as I open up Mod Math, I get a grid, and so that's what I like. This the grid is really important for aligning math problems. I'm going to use my fingers to pinch this, to reverse pinch, so that the squares are bigger so that you guys can see them. I'm kind of aligning here. And you can see the keyboard, which is nice. So I'm just going to tap on a square, and you can't see it on the screen right now, but my square is highlighted on the app. And if I tap in the number 1, it shows up. Oops, let me back up there. And so once I type in 1, and then the cursor kind of goes right immediately to the next cell that you can see. And so I'm just typing, oops, it's going weird on me. And so now I'm going to do type in 3 equals, and you can see how that space, or that almost like tabs over. So so that's one way to do it. But what's really nice is if you have to align your problem. So I'm kind of scooching down a little bit, and I'm going to do 45, and I'm using just the normal keys there. But if you look to the kind of the gray keys on the left side of that keyboard, you'll see that there's an N with a open square, and then next to that is an N with a slash. So those are the keys on the keyboard you use to borrow and to carry. And so with this math problem, if 6 plus 5 is 11, so I'm going to put in a 1, and then I'm going to carry my other 1 by tapping on the 4 and holding down on that N with the open square, and it puts a square up there, and now I can bring my 10 up there, and now I can add this to be 71. So I'm going to quickly show you how to borrow, and then we'll kind of be done. So the same problem, 45, but let's do minus 26. And you see how that line kind of showed up? I really like that too. So 6 from 5. So you could, I'm going to borrow. So I'm going to take the tap on the 4, and I'm going to X that out by tapping on that N with the slash. And then I'm holding down that N with the open square so that I can say that that 3 or that 4 is now a 3. And then for the 5, I can either add just a 1 up here so that it's 15, or if it makes more sense, I could cross out that 5 and type in 15 instead of just 1. So whatever you guys think is best for your students. And so now I can just kind of add, or sorry, subtract. And so there's that. I'm going to do a quick long division. So here is a long division. So say it is 4 divided by 21. So I can do 5 times 4 is 20. And we're subtracting, we have 1 left over. And then there's a remainder symbol, which is that kind of divide symbol with an R. And so when I come up here, I can just say that it's with a remainder of 1. So anyway, that's a really quick overview. There's a 6-minute video on how to use Mod Math too. And you have the newsletter to kind of poke through a little bit too later on.